I'm excited to present today. Thank you everybody for coming. The first part would be about the stages of building an app, idea to release, tools and best practices. Our mission here is to help entrepreneurs build better apps faster. My background is in technology. I've started Flexis almost 10 years ago, and then Team Hunt, a startup, last year. And we've been working for a lot of exciting clients. So I want to share some of my experience in building web and mobile products. Can you hear me well? Should I speak louder?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to. And let me know if I will be getting quiet again. A few words about why mobile is important. Mobile is big because 60 or 70% of US population will have a smartphone, not a feature phone, a smartphone this year as it was forecasted. And almost $87 billion will be spent buying products from mobile, through mobile devices. And it gives a startup, a company, an opportunity that didn't exist before, which is reaching directly to your client's pocket with targeted offers based on behavioral data, so that you can offer umbrellas if you know that it's raining there where the client is now currently. So it makes these amazing companies appear, which inspire currently a lot of new entrepreneurs and startups. And they are very highly evaluated. And you know what they do, correct? Should we go through their stories? Okay. So we are discussing how to bring your idea to an app in the most efficient way. And how many of you have great ideas that are about to be turned into apps? Could you raise your hands? Okay, thank you. Then you are the right audience here. By the way, who is thinking that this is a coding boot camp? Happy about that. Sorry, we will not be coding today. We'll be prototyping. No code will be written. But I hope you'll get some value from the workshop anyway. So in the ideal world, the process should look like this. You should have an idea and get to an app in zero time with zero money and with the ideal quality. So let's discuss now how we can get there as close as possible. There is a set of services that allow you to build apps easily or in an efficient way. iBuildApp is an example of a constructor that allows small businesses to put together a mobile app with almost no effort and almost no money. You can do it yourself. It would be a simple catalog of your products that will allow you to engage with your customers, with your audience. But the quality is not perfect, and it doesn't allow you to do many things. Another interesting package that appeared recently is 10Rocket. These guys promise to build you a minimum viable product, an MVP, in 10 business days and for $10,000, which is a reasonable price. They would connect you with the right engineer. The engineer would talk to you and get a vision from you, what should be built, and we'll build it based on some standard designs from stock photos or something like that. So the third alternative that you might want to consider is to outsource the development of your app. And it can be very different. It can go from $5,000 to $50,000 and above $1,000. It can take 1 month to 6 months or more, and the quality can be very different, poor to great, depending on basically if you were able to find the right developer, a good developer that can create a solid app for you. So I'll try during this part of the workshop to share practices and tools and checklists to get us as near to this part of the equation: faster, cheaper, and higher quality. These are the questions that I'll answer, and you can ask your own questions after the presentation if you have one, if you have any. How to make sure that you will get what you ask the developers to build, how to manage your budget and not to stuck with a lousy, unreleasable build, what part of the work you can actually do yourself with little or no design or development skills, where and how to get the right developers, and how to communicate with them during various stages of your product. Now, what are the stages of the product? I would say these are 7 larger stages: vision forming, wireframes, functional specification, graphic design, implementation, testing, and promotion. At the very beginning here, you have no idea what to do. After vision forming, you basically have an idea of your future app, which is verified with your potential users. Then you start building the app, and here you get to the release after testing stage. You have it tested, and you have it in Apple App Store or on Google Play. And you start to do marketing for it to get users to acquire your audience and to engage with them. So during this part of the workshop, the first part, we will not cover the first and the last stages of this process. Roman, who will be doing the second part, will cover the first one, some of the stages here inside. And he, I guess, may touch a little bit on promotion if there'll be demand from the audience. Now, can you hear me well still? Okay, great. So we'll be going stage by stage now, starting with wireframes. The wireframes define features and interaction flow of an app. Would it be a mobile app or a web app? And it might look like this initially when you start thinking about your app. You can draw it simply on a whiteboard, saying that this would be an input field, a few buttons, and then it would take a user to this next screen with some information here, and occasionally get to these other screens. Just to envision how your app should look and how it should interact with the user. Now, there are tools that allow you to create wireframes that look nicer. These ones were done with Balsamiq. And it basically is the same thing. You put placeholders instead of images or logos, some basic placeholders for text, input fields, buttons, basic shapes, no graphic design, and there is no intention to make it pixel perfect. If you will try to make it pixel perfect and nice looking at this stage, you will waste your time and energy. You shouldn't be doing it at this stage. Now, this is an example of a more complicated set of wireframes for a website. And I'm sorry, the light gray color, you cannot see it, but it's there. So it is a set of screens and a set of dots, red dots that show interactions. If a user clicks this input field, there is an input field there. He or she will be navigating to this next screen, etc. So there is a whole process how the user goes through the website described on this stage, wireframes. And these are the tools that I love the most for building, for creating wireframes. Balsamiq, which we have seen 2 slides before, and Proto.io, which we'll be doing a hands-on session with today. So Balsamiq allows you to imitate hand-written, hand-drawn wireframes and put it on a screen. And now it's quite well, it's been there for several years, maybe 8 years. And it's acquired by Adobe now. It's owned by Adobe. Prod.io is pretty new, I guess. They've been up for 2 years, and they've been advancing really fast. And Prod.io allows you to do a new level of wireframes, interactive wireframes. And what that means is that you can actually put the prototype, the set of wireframes that you've created, on your smartphone and interact with it as if it was a live app. You can you can tap buttons, you can swipe through the app, you can navigate from one screen to another. And let me see if the demo will work. One of the simple prototypes that I've built a while ago for an app idea that I used to consider. It was based on iBeacon technology, the Bluetooth low energy beacons that would be sitting everywhere in shopping malls, in Costco. And when a user comes by a beacon, he or she will be able to collect some virtual resources, later tradable for real goods. So imagine this is the app, and as a user I came by that beacon and I have a push notification popping in. I open the app and I see this picture. I can select a random circle here to pick the resource, the virtual resource that I will collect now. Now I can click this one and it would be a star, and I can either like the star or I can say I don't like the star, I want to pick something else. And I'm clicking this circle here, and it's an apple. I like apples. So I'm cool with that, and these are the resources that I have collected so far. Now I can go to wishes, to the things that I can wish for. And I can scroll here, and I can dive deeper into profiles for each item. I can see that an iPhone 6 Plus would cost me these many resources. I don't have enough, so I go back, and I can wish for this 4-burner grill. So I do that, and that's it, basically. This is the end of the prototype. And the good thing why I was showing this is that you can build experiences like this without writing code, without doing anything. Like if you are good with prototyping, you can build that in 40 minutes, for example.
40 or
40. And this is valuable because you can start showing your future app to your audience before you invest anything in design or development or testing or marketing. So it's a very valuable thing to do at this stage. Now the checklist, if you are not doing the wireframes yourself, there is a person called user experience designer, UX designer, who can do it for you. They would talk to you to understand the vision of the app, of your market, and you need to make sure that they can explain that vision back to you, that they understand it correctly. And if it's an outsourcing team, contractor overseas, it's good to make them explain it back to you, because you will make sure that they speak English well, which is very important to getting the right result at the end of the journey. So you should agree to iterate 3 to 5 times, because you will want to move stuff around. You will be getting feedback from your potential users, and you should include these iterations in your scope of work, in your contract with that contractor, UX designer, or a team. And you will want to use collaboration tools that allows commenting inside wireframes and that allows putting your wireframes on your target devices. Because this is a huge difference, having the prototype on your smartphone and actually touching the screen as your users will do versus clicking an image on your desktop computer. This is very important to have the prototype on the target device. Now the next stage is functional specification, which defines architecture and functionality of the app. And it would probably look like this. A wireframe with some arrows going in and out saying that if a user clicks here, these things happen basically. This can be swiped left and this thing will appear. And this is important because of this. And this pop-up would appear when the user reaches down to 3 screens down, scrolling the screen or something like that. So a more detailed description of what should be done when someone will be actually building the app for you. This image was created by headtip.com, and Headtip is a startup here in the area that connects baristas, waiters with their clients, allowing clients to thank those service workers so that they could build their reputation and find great jobs occasionally. And the checklist for functional specification is the following. It should describe your product vision overview, describe the interaction flow, animations, and marginal use cases, meaning that it can happen that the search in your app gives no results, or no one has yet friended nobody, or no one has thanked the person, or there are no notifications, or server is broken. Something happens, something doesn't work correctly, you should describe in the functional specification how the app should act in that case. This is very important. And you will also want to include some a description for requirements for your backend. If you expect that within the first 6 months since the launch of the app, you will have 1 million daily active users, that the developers that will be actually building the app should know that upfront, should incorporate that in the technology that they'll be using.
Get the copy of this presentation?
The copy? Yes.
Will you email us a copy
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah, sure. Can you use the microphone, please, for the questions, because we want to hear that on video.
I'm sorry, the question was if you will send us a copy of the video. My question is when?
Oh, the video. Within 6 weeks.
It's also in the transcription, so you email him the slides.
Okay.
Then it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel in a few weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Now the third stage for the app development will be graphic design, which actually defines look and feel of the future app. And basically, at this stage, you get from wireframes to something that looks like a real thing. Instead of placeholders, you see real icons and real, well, beautiful things that will actually, well, the thing will look as if it was a real app. It will not be interactive unless you use specific tools. Now, the tools that are widely used is Sketch, which is an alternative to Photoshop, which does like 10% of what Photoshop does, but it's very geared toward UI design. It works with UI elements really nicely. It can synchronize to cloud services, and it can allow you to view the design on your target device, on your smartphone. And it costs much less as well. Sketch and InVision, which is a web app that allows you to make your graphic design interactive, which means you can take the design, the graphic design that your designer will occasionally provide you, and you will define interactive areas. Like if a user taps this area, defined by that rectangle, he or she goes to this other screen with this nice transition. Or this area should have a footer and a header, and all the other elements should be scrollable within the graphic design. So this is huge because at this stage, if you use InVision, you'll be able to show to your users the app as if it was actually live and beautiful. And it synchronizes to smartphones and to cloud if you will want it. So let me show you another demo here. So HeadTip needed to transition their app from iPhone to Android. And this is the interactive prototype that we've done for them. So these are just images. This is there is no code inside. Images connected together with interaction areas that define that if I click here or cancel, I go to this other screen. If I click here, I go to this screen. And if I click somewhere else, it will tell me, hey, these are the areas that you can click on. And you can put this prototype on your iPhone or Android in this case. So the good thing about it, once again, oh yeah. So the good thing about it, once again, is that without investing in coding, you'll be able to see the almost a live app on your smartphone.
Just a quick question. Do you need to do the wireframe before this, or can you start right from here?
You can jumpstart with this.
Okay.
I know many people who are great designers that don't do wireframes. They don't need to do that. They understand. They have a good feeling of what the product should look like. So they jumpstart with graphic design. And I was saying that InVision and Sketch work nicely together. If you will want to figure out the graphic design yourself, you can use the Noun project, which is a website that can help you find an icon, an image for almost any word in English language. Like you can imagine what was the word in this case. Coffee. Okay. Growth supply. Yeah. Let me show you what these resources actually look like. And let me know if I'll need to speak up. So the Noun project works like this. If I say golf, it will bring in all kinds of golf-related icons. What else could it be? So I'll have a lot of balls now. So all kinds of things that you might want.
Question.
Yep. Can you use the microphone again, please?
Gotcha. So this is a reference for icons in use
Yeah.
in your product or the app. Are these just references, or are these royal? You have to pay royalties to use them. Can you actually use them, or kind of what's the intellectual property element to these icons that are available here?
You would pay $10 a month to get subscription to be able to download these icons to use it. There is also this resource, growth.supply, that contains hundreds of links to various websites, to various resources, most of which are free, that can help you with the graphic design. For example, stock photography and different tools. Now, hope it will load sometime later. Okay, there is also this website called Logaster, which allows you as an early stage entrepreneur to spend less on the logo for your product. They will guide you through a set of steps inside their tool to give you a decent logo for $30 based on their templates. So you tell them what is the name of your company, and they guide you step by step, and you end up with a nice logo you can put on your website or on your app initially. Now, if you will grow and you will feel that the quality of that logo is not good enough, you can use services like 99 Designs that allows you to create a logo of much higher quality for $300 or something more dollars. And the difference here is that you'll be engaging not one designer to create a logo, but a dozen of designers will be submitting their work to you, competing with each other to provide higher value, and you will pay only once to the designer who has created the best design for you. And on 99 Designs, you can do all kinds of stuff, web design, mobile app design, logos, almost anything. So this is a really valuable resource. Now the checklist to creating a graphic design or to working with a contractor for graphic design is the following. And the question:
is there a platform for getting developers to bid on your whole app like there is for the design part?
Yes. This is the next stage. Thank you. This is the next stage of app development that we'll be considering now. Imagine you want to create graphic design for your future app, and you have done wireframes, for example. So you will want to find the right designer. And finding the right designer means that you like the style of what he is doing, the things that he has done before, that he or she has in the portfolio. Because most likely they will build you, or they will create for you something very similar. So you should like their style. Make sure that they understand the values of your app and can explain those back to you, which is important, the feedback loop, to make sure that you will be getting the thing that you intended to create. You will want to provide visual references to the designer, meaning that the designer will take your vision as an input, and also a set of links that you will provide to them, links to mobile apps or to websites that you also like, to combine them together and to create a graphic design for your app based on those visual references. So this is the easiest way to define the look and feel of your future app, to tell the designer what you want them to do. Visual references. Be sure to agree to iterate at least 5 times to move stuff around and to change colors and font sizes. And use a collaboration tool like InVision that allows commenting inside the images and putting the graphic design as an interactive prototype on the target device. Now, this part is about coding. Implementation follows the graphic design. The important thing is that after you have done wireframes, functional specification, and graphic design, you probably at this point have defined your future app good enough, and the developers, well, it will be very difficult for developers to fail at this stage and to build something that you didn't want to have, unless you hire a bad developer. So you will need to hire a good developer at this stage. The purpose of this stage is coding the app as it was designed. And there is a set of great resources that can help you learn to code, including Udemy and Coursera and iTunes University. And when you'll get the deck, there are links to specific courses. Like on iTunes University, there is a course. There is a link to Stanford professor Paul Haggerty on Swift development, which is really nice. And if you are not a developer yourself now and you do not want to change your career, I do not recommend learning to code to build your app, because it will take you months. When a developer will invest a week to build it, and you will get to your business potentially much sooner with much little investment here. Now, there are resources that help you find the right developers. Upwork, TopTal, and TeamHunt. TeamHunt is my product. So Upwork has been up and running as Elance and Odesk since 1998. Now they have rebranded. And this basically is the largest freelance marketplace that allows you to find developers, designers, accountants, personal assistants, all kinds of professionals to work for you. Now, there is a problem with these freelancers, and the problem is that in 65% of cases, projects fail and the professionals do not deliver on marketplaces like Upwork, at least in my experience and in experience of people I'm connected to. So the good thing about Upwork is that you can, if you're lucky, you can get your app built for little money. So the recommendation, if you will want to work through Upwork, the recommendation would be try to split your project in 2 phases, a smaller one and a larger one, and give the smaller one to 3 developers, and then move on with the best one. So you will not get in trouble if someone will not deliver. Yeah, I can share my experience with Upwork. I've been I've posted a job there with the maximum budget of $500, and I started receiving different bids from professionals around the world, and there was a lady saying that, hey, I will deliver your job for $84. And I was like, yeah, I want that. And there were several bids for $300 and $400 and above. So I went with the lady, and she started to tell that she has a bill for internet, and I will need to invest $100 more, and the test project that I've given to her for $5 was not what I wanted, so I started replying, and I went with another lady that has delivered it for 50. So you can get what you want on Upwork, but it takes management and luck. So TopTal is a great resource that allows you to connect with developers based on their skills. Meaning, if you know that you are building your website on JavaScript, you can go to TopTal and leave your request there, and they will connect you with developers experienced that specialize in that technology. And it would cost you $50 to $80 per hour, the developer itself. The great thing about TopTal is that they offer a guarantee period, 2 weeks. If you don't like the developer, you can, you cannot pay. It's free. And they will connect you with the other developer. And their developers are good. They do screening and interviews and tests, including English, which is really valuable. Now, Team Hunt is not about individual freelancers or developers. It's about teams. If you plan to outsource the entire process from wireframes design, building, and testing, Team Hunt connects you with teams that have done similar projects before. You go there, you check. I want to build for these platforms. I want these features, these technologies. I'm in family tech or I'm in gaming. And it will connect you to a set of teams that have built similar projects. So that means that they will deliver higher quality faster in your case. These are some screenshots. This is Upwork, and they have sales and marketing experts and web developers and many other categories. This is TopTal, just to show you how it looks. This is a profile of a team on Team Hunt, and it's a large page with portfolio and references and other information. Question?
What are the intellectual property ramifications of having a team like Team Hunt do your whole project?
So you will want to sign an NDA with them, and you want to define in your contract. It's a pretty standard thing. You will put a paragraph there that all the intellectual properties are owned by the client. Normally, it works like this. And if you email me, I can send you a link to a website that has all that documents available for free. Another question that I've been asked a lot is how to deal with estimates. Meaning that if you're doing a mobile app and you are an early stage entrepreneur and your budget is limited, you don't want to run into a time and material contract with unpredictable time frame and unpredictable budget. So you will want to collect estimates, bids from teams. And one team will say that we plan that this product will cost this much and will take this amount of time, etc. So it is normal in the industry. I mean, it's not normal, but it's typical that projects run over budget or over the planned time frame. And this happens because it's hard to predict normally, and sometimes the requirements change. But this is a simple algorithm that can help you get most risk out of the process. So I recommend to be more on the safe side, to collect estimates from at least 5 teams and compare these estimates one to the other, and go with 3 most reasonable estimates. Estimates can be unreasonable because, well, in case when you have asked 5 teams for estimates and one team came up with 5,000. Then you have 13, 15, 18, and then 50. You can understand pretty easily that maybe those two other teams do not understand what they need to build. And maybe the team that has bid it for 50,000, maybe they plan to build the video chat part themselves, and they didn't understand that there is a Twilio that has that functionality out of the box. And maybe that team that has bid it for 5,000 will probably not be able to deliver, and there is a risk that you will stuck with a team that will run out of budget. They will understand that they cannot profit on this project, and they will extend it to infinity in time. So it's not what you want. So you will want to get along with the reasonable estimates. Now, when you have selected your top candidates, go through their portfolio and check that they have relevant experience. They have built something similar before. And that means when they've been there and done that, they will deliver estimates that are more precise, because they know what components should look like, what those components that you plan to incorporate in the app, and how to make it work together. Now, the budget will be fixed in your contract, and you'll have a timeline with milestones and payments, installments for the contract. But I recommend not to plan starting your marketing campaign right after the planned delivery date, because something might go wrong. I don't know, maybe you will want to make some changes. Maybe it will take longer to build for some reason. They didn't know that Twitter doesn't allow to attach pictures to the tweets if a user is not logged in through the app. Something else. There might be something, a tiny little thing that will make them go out of time. But the team will have to keep within that budget, which is important, to keep their reputation. They will deliver within the budget, and I do not recommend, once again, to stick your promotion campaigns to the planned delivery date. Allow at least a month before you start marketing, or plan it dynamically, because in some cases Apple will take more than a week to review your app. It might be several iterations with Apple, and we have a case in the audience on that. So these are the tools that can help you communicate more efficiently with your developers. And you either would proactively recommend these tools to contractors, or the team, normally teams that have great experience in working with customers, they have a set of tools that they normally use, and they will onboard you on their process to use their tools. To name the tools, there is Rike and Asana, a grayish word down there, which help you to keep your project on track. It's a project management cloud-based software. Trello is a tool that does pretty much the same, but in a different way. It's a set of boards that you can pin your tasks on, or any kind of information, and move from one board to the other. And your boards might be like prototyping, designing, building, testing, ready to market and released, something like that. And you will move a feature from one board to the other in Trello. Bitbucket or Jira, they are owned by one company, Atlassian. is a tool to, or GitHub is a tool to store your source code, repositories basically. Toggle is a time tracker for time and material contracts or freelancers. Then Google Drive and Google Hangouts to communicate with the team with documents or video chat or text messaging using Slack, which is very popular now. I will not go into much of details here. Now the checklist to make the implementation stage more successful is this. Make sure that the engineers have relevant experience, have done similar projects. Make sure that the estimates that they come up with are reasonable. You should be also you should also have a feeling that the focal person, the project manager of the team that you plan to work with is professional and responsive, because something will happen, something will go wrong. They will need to manage it professionally and notify you upfront and make you aware of the situation and respond to your emails on time, etc. Make sure that contract protects your IP and also defines milestones and deliverables for every milestone. Question?
Yes, this is all great. It's all very practical, but some of the challenges I've had are kind of defining the scope of project when it starts. Sometimes I'll talk to a developer and developer will be like, well, do you want this drop down to be like, over here, and should it interface? And so my philosophy has been like, I'd like to start with something very simple at first and get them to kind of get on board with that and then kind of build out from that. I'm wondering, based on your experience, can you recommend like a good way to make sure that both sides are communicating so you have the greatest likelihood of being successful?
Well, to start with something small, probably you will want to either show the functional specification of a complete product to the team and then say that these things we will not have at the first phase of the product. Like, we are taking these out. There'll be no dropout, there'll be something else, or there'll be only one screen in the app. So you can manage that based on functional specification as the main tool. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, so for example, one of the things that I was working on, the developer was like, well, then I'm going to have to gather all this data, and I'm going to have to crunch it, and on the back end, it's going to be really expensive to run this. So maybe you can think about a way to just kind of, do you want to make one call each time, or do you want to just gather the data and use that as kind of a way to think about it? So it was kind of like he had a bunch of very specific questions further on down the line, stuff that I hadn't thought about that I had to think about. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of trying to figure out, is there a best way to kind of encapsulate what it is you want to do? Like, hey, we're like, Uber meets, Tinder, and, this is what we want to do, or blah, 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 and like keep it simple so that you don't get off the rails with a lot of this detailed stuff that costs a lot of time and money. I guess that's what I'm trying to.
Okay. So when you have a vision of a product, of an app, definitely you will be thinking more about the market for the app and less about technology, how to get there. So ideally, a startup should have a technical co-founder that should care about optimizing the communications between front end and back end. But if you don't have a technical co-founder, then you will need a technical person to communicate with, to get advice from, and to create that functional specification together that would incorporate all those things. And normally, when you plan a project with a development team, they would, if it's a complicated app that has different scenarios in terms of front-end and back-end communication, they would create a document describing all those communications and come up with questions to you to understand what's important for the business for this app. So there should be a dialogue for sure. Okay. So, and you will want to have communication tools and regular meetings down the road to be synchronized, to move synchronously with the team. And they need, or you need, to write down all the decisions you make together, like the ones that you have mentioned. For example, the backend will have this API and will be able to handle that many transactions, etc. You will want to be hands-on, not to give away the entire process to a team, because you want to guide them. They do not understand your market. They do not understand your vision long term. So during those regular meetings, you will want to talk to them to make sure that they are on the right track. But you should trust the team in the areas that they are professional in. Like if they will want to use Node.js for backend, or Scala or Spark if you are doing big data startup. So it will be their area of responsibility. And it's important to pick the right team, professionals, so that they would make the right choice where they need to make the choice. Do I need to speak up again? Is it comfortable like that? Okay. Now the testing. It's not complicated, quite a simple thing, which is making sure that your product delivers value. Is it a question about implementation, the previous stage? Okay, let's go on.
So you were talking about implementation early on. So one of the things that I thought was interesting in your checklist, I'd like to hear from your experience, what happens to pitfalls when you work with a particular team and you're halfway through the code, or maybe phase one and whatsoever, and then you find that this team is not the right suitable team? How do you make sure that the code that they have developed, that you own that code, and then also be able to transfer that code to another company, another team, and whatsoever? What are the things that need to take care of that? That's the first question. Second question, you talked about NDA. Is there any generic NDAs out there that you can share with us?
So there are generic NDAs. Now about the source code. Normally, teams love to use the source code as their protection from client fraud, which means they would release the source code when you will have a milestone paid to them. So they would put it together and ship to you upon receipt of the payment. So normally if your contract or your agreement with the team defines the way to part your ways with the team, there will be a description of what each of you should do to terminate the contract and to get the source code. And normally you would put there that upon the payment of the work done till this specific point, you will pay for that. The team will deliver the source code, and that's it. The contract is done. The agreement is terminated. So you'll need to explicitly put that in your agreement with the team. And there are templates for that.
My follow-up question is, how do you make sure that those comments in the code and whatsoever can be understandable by another team? Obviously, if you're not technical enough, how do you make sure that it's transferable?
Well, you need to first make it an explicit agreement with the team first. There are two types of, or several types of programming and goals as well. You can either do it as quickly as possible to get this small functionality to the market, and you will know that you'll be changing the product later. You will have released, and you will have iterations, and it will be changing, and you do not know at the beginning of the journey, you do not know what will be the final product to get traction. So for that scenario, you do not need a great architecture and ideal code, because the code will be changing over time. And to make those iterations, if you require ideal code fully commented, will create you an overhead. It is possible, but it will cost you much more money. So there should be some balance between these two approaches. And the other approach is to, well, maybe put less comments, but to get there quicker, to get the product working for less time and money. So you should agree with the team up front. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to make it like enterprise-ready product, or do you want to do it as quickly as possible? Okay.
So I actually kind of gone through a couple of iterations for graphic design and code development, and I run into all sorts of problems, and I can hear what he's saying, and we got the exact same thing. We spell out the contract very well. We actually stipulate that they have to comment all the code, but when you start running into problem, your developers, my experience is almost always you just want to cut the losses and move on. We pay the developer the ransom fee, which is basically they say we're not going to give you the source code and the money until they get the money. Once you pay the money, they give you malicious code. So there's no way you can check it. Even after you check it, they would say, okay, well, if they can read code, then you don't need a comment. So I use Upwork, I use Elance, I use Odesk, and Guru, and I did graphic design. And you just, because you're not technical, you run into all these problems all the time. You just cut your losses and move on. And my other question for you is that I'm trying to get people, non-technical people. I recommend that you hire a technical guy that check the work with an outsourcer. And so now you have two projects going at the same time. You got one guy is doing the development, and the other guy checking the code. And they better than not know each other, because they can tell you exactly what's going on. And so, and I have a problem hiding that type of person. So if you have any tips or any way for non-technical people like us to get a CTO, a pseudo CTO, so to speak. So
well, my understanding of this situation is that, again, with Upwork, you will need to do some more management to control the quality of the code, to control the team, because you do not understand that they will, if they will actually deliver and if the quality will be high. So what I normally recommend is going on with a team or developers that you will not have to control, that will actually deliver high quality without all the infrastructure that you will have to build around a poor quality developer. And TopTal and Team Hunt are resources that allow you to get there, to get some peace of mind for that. Because you do not want to manage the developer and the controlling developer and getting, well, out of those different situations. You want to be focused on your market and on fundraising and on promotion and partnerships and clients. So it's more expensive to get a cheap developer. These are the tools that are great for testing. These are normally used by developers, and this is a beta by Crashlytics, which is a part of Twitter. And TestFlight, which is now a part of Apple. The thing that they do is they simply allow you to deliver a build of your mobile app to your smartphone or to smartphones of other early users of your app via email before the app is released to Apple App Store or Google Play. So it's a kind of a shortcut. There are other ways which are more technical to do that, but these two tools are really easy to use and they are used a lot. This other resource, usertesting.com, is not about app quality and beta testing. It's about having random people, real people in the world use your website or your app. And you'll be getting videos of those people using your app. They will stumble upon something that you didn't expect they will stumble upon, and you will get very precious feedback from every video of that kind. And as far as I remember, every video would cost you $50. And a half an hour video or 1 hour video. So very helpful resource to get an early stage understanding of the potential market traction for your product. And the checklist is very straightforward. Use an issue tracker with the team. If you find an issue, a bug, you will list it, file it to an issue tracker, maybe a Bitbucket or GitHub. Always test the app that is delivered to you as a release candidate. If you need load testing, ask the team to simulate the load. If you expect 1 million daily active users, they can set up another server to create that artificial load to the production server and handle your app to early users and get a feeling of how they will be actually using your product. Because normally it looks very different from what you expected they will be doing. So at this point, we are normally asking on this scale from 1 to 10, where are you? 1 is considering ideas, and 10 is I can't wait to start building. Think for yourself, where would you be, 1, 5, or 10? And if it's 5 or above, could you raise your hand to show me where you? I see, so the right part of the audience is more on the higher side of the scale. That's the statistics. For you, I highly recommend to learn more about MVP, minimum viable products. This is basically a very simple product that requires only a small investment from you, but it will be enough to get market traction, which means the users will be actually able to use it and to get value from this minimum viable product, and you will be able to get early adopters and test your idea. You spend little money and you get a good feeling if you're building the right thing for the market. This is the idea of an MVP. It should incorporate core features only, and during the second part of the workshop, Roman will be talking about prioritizing features. So, and the proposal here, the sales pitch, is that we will build your MVP within 1 day and 1 week. 1 day, we will meet with you in person. It will be basically 2 guys from our side, me and Roman, the second speaker. We will discuss your product, research your competition, prioritize features and build the interactive prototype using Proto.io, which probably you'll be able to do yourself after the third part of today's workshop. Then with that interactive prototype, you will go and take your time to test the prototype with your potential users and collect your feedback and to make improvements to the prototype yourself to make it sticky and understandable and, well, to make sure that it has the potential to win the market. And then when you're ready, we'll build it within 1 week. It's $10,000 1 day and 1 week. And also we do this 40 minutes review and advice session for free when you have something to discuss about a mobile app idea. And when you'll get the copy of this deck, email me to get the copy, and there is a set of useful links that I've mentioned throughout the presentation, all on one slide. That's it. Now I'm open for questions, please. Thank you. 1, 2. If you have no questions, we can talk during the break.
Well, if you have a question, it's actually probably good to ask it now, because someone else may have the same question.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You'll get the answer on the video, which you can use as a resource over and over again. So if you have a question, come on up, use the mic. And we have about 15 minutes before the break, and then we'll have a third session after that. But take advantage of this Q&A session. Show the last slide again.
This one? Uh-huh. Just a moment.
So my question is, I think you just said that for $10,000 in 1 week, you'll make an app for us. You will? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Team Hunt.
that was on the screen before this, which said mvp@teamhunt.co. So do we email that one, or do we email alex@teamhunt.co?
Both will work.
Okay, great.
Doesn't really matter.
And then more of a fun question. Is there an app for designing apps?
There's a lot of apps for designing apps. They've been popping up since 2010 when iPad appeared. And
I'm sorry, I don't mean for designing the app. I mean for the whole process of which you just described in the checklist of do this, then do this, then do that.
no, this is a market opportunity. You can build that app as a startup.
Okay. Question is research competition. Can you elaborate more on that? Like when we come up with a product idea, I'm sure we have done the market research already ourselves, right? So what is the value add that we get from you guys from that bullet point? You say you do the research as well.
You can
And
do
what
the
kind of
research.
insights do you give? And how, as a person envisioning the product, what tools do we have to figure out that that's the best direction to go?
So I would leave this question to Roman, the second speaker here, to comment during maybe his part of the workshop, because he will.
During my presentation, I'll specifically touch base on that topic, and I'll give you a step-by-step instructions how do we conduct that research.
Okay.
Thank you.
Two quick questions. The first one is regarding app stores.
Okay.
So the obvious vehicles for getting the apps out to people's smartphones and handsets and what have you is either via iOS, the Apple ecosystem, or Google Play. And so what could you provide any recommendations in terms of how to manage those accounts and your relationship as the business owner, as the app owner with those accounts, as opposed to, say, having your outsourced party or the person that you're working with to develop, to have them push it to the Apple Store? Because I can anticipate that there could potentially be some problems in terms of ownership of those accounts, and what do we need to know as the owner of a new business, of an app, in terms of how we manage these relationships with Apple and Google, and how to maximize the launch as well as potential revenue and ongoing relationships with the app platform and ecosystems. And the second question, if you wouldn't mind touching on, and I'm not asking you to competitively contrast your services with other services, but is there a general, in your experience and in the app development world, is there a general scale of cost for developing an MVP or developing an app? And I know it runs the gamut. If you're building, say, a Zillow with massive feature sets and things like that, compared to say someone that's only looking to do something for their individual personal real estate agency that they're pushing out to just their own individual customers. But is there kind of a sense for, you've got a kind of a $10,000 price tag here for this, but is there a kind of something that we can whet our appetites on in terms of just getting our heads wrapped around, what we're looking at in terms of getting started? So sorry, two kind of long questions actually.
So since I remember the second one better, let me reply to the second one first. So the cost will depend on how much work you have done yourself. If you are coming to a development team with a graphic design and with a clear description of what it should be, an MVP, normally a team can build it for $2,000 easily. We had a client 2 weeks ago. He had the complete graphic design, so we had just to discuss what should be included in the MVP, and we've built it for $1,800. So it can be done. And if you will want to build something more complicated, or if you want to outsource more than just development, creative part of the job, the price will go up, and there is no limit. There are agencies that can charge, that normally charge $60,000 to $80,000 to outsource the entire process, and they do a great job. They are on Team Hunt as well.
The first question was about the
Yeah. I remember that as well. Maybe okay. So correct me if I'll be replying to the wrong question. So on the App Store, you probably will want to keep the ownership of the account, and you will create the account yourself, or you will trust the developer to create the account, but then gain the control, take it back from the developer, make sure that you keep your credentials to you. And there is nothing bad if the developer will actually upload the build, submit the app to Apple App Store or Google Play. The critical thing is to provide the marketing materials that other people, that potential users will see there on the App Store, because the developer might not have expertise to do the right screenshots, or to write the marketing text, or to create the right keywords for the app, or to come up with the right title, which may not be just one word, but the entire description of what the app does. And you will need some marketing expertise. Either you will want to learn it, because this is critical for the success of your business, or you will hire a team that has done some marketing, some launches of apps, or you will hire an external contractor in addition to the developers and designers.
So there's people that you can hire to do that as well.
Yes, for sure.
App Store.
Yeah. Now there is a great resource for professionals in marketing. It's called silo.co, and social networks that connects professionals better than LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn it's hard to ask a question to your entire network. And silo.co is meant to enable you to ask questions to your network. So when I was launching Team Hunt, I found a marketing consultant there on Silo.
Can you spell that?
silo.co. Other questions?
two quick questions. And the first one is, if I work with individual developer from the freelance market.
Could you speak up?
Okay, so if I work with the individual developer from the freelance market, and how do you handle the contract and IP?
You know, probably Upwork has a standard agreement that regulates all that kind of relationship. I'm not sure. You'll need to check that explicitly.
Okay. Second question is, if I already have a website and I just want to clone the website into an app, and is the process the same as you just described, or it could be much easier?
It depends on the website. There are websites that can be easily transformed in mobile apps using hybrid technologies like PhoneGap, for example. And they would take your JavaScript and HTML code and they would package it so that it looks like a native app. Now, the important thing is to make sure that your website will look nice on a mobile device. And the website that change the behavior and positions of the elements, depending on the screen resolution, these websites are called responsive websites. So I can show you an example of a responsive website. But this is the answer for your question. It depends on the website. Normally, you can package a good website with a standard technology for little money. So a responsive website is Team Hunt. Sure. So what I wanted to show you, this is the list of the teams that match these search criteria. And on a desktop, it looks like this. But when it gets to a smaller screen, it changes. The screenshots disappear, and it gets, it looks different for this screen size. And then occasionally for a mobile device, it would change to 2 panels, where you can switch from the filter panel to the search engine result page. So if your website can do this, then you can apply this hybrid technology right away. Voila.
Sorry, I have 2 more questions. You talked about mobile app development. Do you cover full stack as well?
You mean services? Sure.
No, I mean servers, backend.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the follow-up question to that then is that you talked about MVP development. What about hosting?
Hosting. We don't do hosting. We use some of the hosting providers. We really love DigitalOcean, which is great. And for more demanding backends, Amazon is a good solution.
So the $10,000 that you just covered, that's only just web development, and then the hosting, we have to just take that after development and figure out where we're going to host it and stuff like that, is what I'm hearing?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Alex.
Hey.
So you mentioned earlier Node.js. Do you set up the backend servers and host it as well? And and then once the application is developed, does your team run the operations of executing and running this app continuously?
We can do that.
Maintain it, or do you find a different team?
No, we can do that for for a small monthly fee. We definitely set up the server. We can create the entire backend to make sure that it runs and it scales. And we can do DevOps continuously as well.
Okay. And how do you get traffic to your app?
This is the
building it's easy, but how do you get traffic there, right? Because there are tons of apps out there. Everybody's building an app.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to build one, but how many apps do you regularly use on a regular basis? You keep going back. There's only a handful. I mean, the apps that I've installed recently, it's very small. Right?
Now, this is a very important topic, and this is a very large topic to cover. So getting traffic is not cheap. You should plan at least 2 times of a budget for marketing as you have for development and designing the app. And
then
traffic.
earlier you mentioned 10,000. That's only the 1 week plus 1 day.
Yeah.
Right. And that's only MVP, right?
Yeah.
So if you need to flush it out, build the whole app, how long does it normally take? Well, I guess that depends on the complexity of the app. But on average, how long does it take your team to build a full-blown app?
It depends. For Team Hunt, again, we have built the MVP in 1 week. We had the graphic design, and we built the entire thing, the database, the back end, the front end, in 1 week. But then the journey continues, and it depends on the complexity of the final app that you will have. It can take any time. The Team Hunt is still in development.
Okay, great. Thank
So I don't have enough information to answer this question.
Okay. And then in terms of managing the source code,
okay.
Do you guys, do you recommend the entrepreneur set up their own source code repository first, give it to the developers and make sure that they check in as they're developing the code? Or do you let them say, hey, build an app, and then when you're done, ship me the code, right? And I think someone mentioned, they'll hold you code ransom until you pay.
Okay.
Something like that. So what is your experience as in terms of best practice?
You can make an agreement with the development team that the code will be in your repository from the very beginning of the project. But in this case, the team has to trust you, that you will actually pay them at the end of the journey. And we normally, well, we work with subcontractors with those teams, and they do trust us. So for Hat Tip, for example, we've used their repository from the very beginning. And I wouldn't say the other option will work as well. If a team sets up a repository themselves and checks in the code there and ship it to you after each milestone, for example. Or you can make an agreement that you will get access to that repository, or you will gain control over that repository after the first milestone, and they will be checking in the code there. So there is the issue of trust, which is very important.
Yes.
And yeah, this is...
So to that point, how do you handle the payments, right? So trust is like, okay, I built this app, I give you the code, and you don't pay, right? And from the other side is, well, I'm gonna pay you, and then you're not gonna deliver, and so it's both sides, right? So how do you make sure? And this is part of the trust process.
Mm-hmm.
If I trust you, then yeah, we'll do that. But if I don't know you and I haven't worked with you before, how do you make sure what money to collect up front? How the developer gets paid? How do they get comfortable that you're gonna pay their bills?
Okay, so you can make what you can do is you can run your due diligence on a mobile or web development team. Due diligence, which means you would talk to other clients. You would review their source code that they will provide as a sample. And you will talk to the project manager. And overall, this will give you a good impression about the team and a basement to build trust. So this is a good process.
Hey, Alex, I'm Billy, and I just wanted to make a comment for the good of the order because I heard the IP question come up a couple times. It's all well and good to have an NDA and a work-for-hire agreement that people are making the code for you. But the question, really, the analysis is, where is that enforceable? And the enforcement, it's going to be easy if you're in the United States. The real issue is going to come up abroad. So for anybody who's thinking about protecting their IP rights, I think you really have to analyze what the law is in the jurisdiction that you're going into to hire the developer. Because the rules may be different in Ukraine or Russia or Romania or wherever, or Czech, wherever your programmers are. And so you'll be able to protect your rights here. It'll be more difficult over there, and it bears consideration. Just want to point that out.
Okay. So that is true. The issue of IP can not be enforceable, can be not enforceable if the entity that you're dealing with is overseas. And you always have an option to find an overseas team that would have an onshore entity, a US company that would that you will be contracting with. So in that case, you will be able to enforce the IP agreement. So this is a secure solution to this problem.
That's why I think it's good to contract with you.
Yeah, one of the reasons. Other teams also have companies here, so we're not the only one.
All right, well, let's hear it for Alex.
Thank you.